in effect until 7 a.m. on Monday. The summary of greatest impacts, I think the Weather Service has a system where it's basically no impact to extreme impact. And while most of the counties themselves are not in the extreme impact category, there are parts, as you will see from our friends also from the Weather Service, that parts of Chautauqua and Erie County are in an extreme impact zone. You see it by the purple on the screen. So when we talk about major and extreme impacts, we're talking about basically, in some ways, the shutdown of normal services because it is impassable to go through the roads. We've seen this before. We know what it's like when we have very bad storms. But we wanted people to understand that while there is not a driving ban in effect in Erie County, there will be I will be announcing an advisory, a travel advisory for the southern part of Erie County. And right now we have learned in just the past few minutes that in Pennsylvania, Interstate 90 is now closed from Interstate 79 to the New York State line. We've also learned that Route 219 in Cattaraugus County from basically the Erie County line by Ashford Hollow all the way down to Ellicottville is very, very poor with many cars and trucks off the road. So it is not a good time to be driving in those areas of our region. To give you a little better, greater idea of scale on this winter storm scale index, this was put together by our friends at the University of Albany Weather Resource Center, Dr. Basil and his teams. They are predicting, it hasn't really hit yet, or it's starting to, but extreme impact will be occurring in the towns of Brant, Eden, Evans, and Hamburg, and part of Orchard Park from when the snow starts to hit, which for most of those areas will be later today or in the overnight hours through Saturday and Sunday. This includes the villages of Angola, Farnham, and Hamburg. Extreme means it will be exceptionally dangerous travel. There will be blizzard-like conditions. This is not a blizzard. It won't qualify for a blizzard because of the winds. But when the winds do pick up, and they will pick up to over 30 miles an hour at times, you will have whiteouts. You will have blizzard-like conditions. Major impacts will be in most of the rest of southern and central Erie County. In extreme and major impact areas, travel will be dangerous or nearly impossible. So we just want people to understand that it's not going to be easy to travel in Erie County, in the southern part of our county, primarily tomorrow through the midpoint on Sunday. That's when we're expecting the vast majority of the snow to fall. The totals. The total, and this is as an estimate, is a little before 1 o'clock from the National Weather Service. You will see there actually is greater than 4 feet in parts of Chautauqua County, as well as 3 to 4 feet in a good portion of Erie County, which I highlighted with a little white crosshatch area. That includes Brant, Evans, Eden, Hamburg, and a portion of Orchard Park. So we are expecting significant snowfalls in these areas, and if you live in the city of Dunkirk, between 7 a.m. this morning and 7 a.m. Monday, you will probably have about 4 feet of snow on the ground. So Chautauqua County's got hit pretty hard, and we expect, unfortunately, that to continue for some time, though the band is going to move. Snow totals through Monday. This is also from our friends at the University of Albany. They've broken it down so you can kind of see it, not just by the county, but by the towns and the villages. It's what we talked about. 3 feet of snow or more is possible in Eden, Evans, and Hamburg. Most of southern and central Erie County will receive more than a foot to 2 feet of snow, and blizzard-like conditions could result in a whiteout. So we often, and I think this map is a good one because people wonder where's southern Erie County. South Buffalo is not southern Erie County. Buffalo is primarily in the north towns. Southern Erie County includes Eden, Evans, Boston, Concord, Colvin, Holland, North Collins, Brant, Concord, Sardinia, and the villages therein. Central Erie County is primarily, when you think of Hamburg, Orchard Park, and the areas east, or Lackawanna, West Seneca, Cheektowaga. Northern Erie County includes Buffalo, Cheektowaga, Tonawanda, Amherst, and Clarence, Newstead. If you're in Northern Erie County, you're probably going to get only just a minor accumulation, a few inches, maybe no more than 6 inches. If you're in Central Erie County, depending on where you are, you could get anywhere from 2 feet to 3 feet. If you're in Southern Erie County, you might even get over 3 feet. So we think it's just important for people to understand where they are geographically and the impact that could have. So the snow totals through Monday are significant, but these are not amounts we cannot handle. Because it's falling over basically a 2-day period, we should be able to handle these as long as vehicles are not on the road that don't need to be on the road and getting stuck. Our problem often with our trucks is our trucks cannot plow roads if there are vehicles stuck on them, especially those that probably shouldn't be on the road. And I'll turn it over to our Public Works Commissioner to talk a little bit more about that. But timing, the amount of snow that's falling over this period is something we can handle as long as the roads are clear. If we get tractor trailers backed up, cars backed up, then our trucks can't go down the road until they're pulled out, and that hampers our efforts. Important information for the Bills game. This is the information from the University of Albany's Weather Center regarding the Bills game. We do expect the heaviest snows to have stopped by the time of game time on Sunday night. However, it is possible, and the most likely scenario is there'll be 20 to 30 inches of snow that will have fallen at the football stadium by game time, with most of it actually falling probably before 3 or 4 o'clock on Sunday. This is going to be concerning for people trying to travel to the football game. We do not expect the game to be postponed or anything like that. The game will go on. We've been in concert with the Bills. They're going to be bringing their teams to get in there and clean out the stadium. This is something they're used to. It's not 5 feet of snow or 7 feet of snow like we saw, but 2 to 3 feet of snow means that it's also going to be snowing when people are trying to clear it out. So we're going to recommend everybody to take as much caution as possible when you're trying to get to the game on Sunday, so that you get to the game on Sunday. It's going to be slow going. There's no doubt about that. Most of the snow appears that it will be hitting on Saturday through Sunday morning. There will be gusty winds, and it will be cold. The wind chills in the overnight hours from Saturday to Sunday will be in the single digits. They are expected to be in the teens during the hours of the football game. Now, we've had games that are colder than that. You just got to dress appropriately, so people need to be prepared. It's the first real cold of the season. We haven't had anything like this all year. We've had a very mild fall, and we're still technically in fall. So I think it's important for people to be dressed accordingly. Our fans know how to dress. If you're going to the game, expect exceptionally cold temperatures with regards to wind chills in the teens. Power outages, I'm going to turn it over to our friends from Emergency Services. We are hopeful there's not power outages, but if there are, what to be prepared for. So, get the next couple.
Thank you, County Executive. As the County Executive said, there's always a concern with power outages, and in particular, how people try to recover from that. So we ask you to please make sure that if you do use a generator that's not a permanently mounted generator, that you do not leave it inside your garage, as it could impact you even worse. There's a process to follow, and we understand that as long as you follow the process and notify the utilities, they will be there to help restore that. There are an incredible amount of dangers that could happen when you use that generator inside an enclosed area like a garage, and we want you to avoid that at all costs. So also, as the County Executive said, we're going to be experiencing some extremely cold weather for the first time this season at the Bills game. Please remember, things like frostbite occur, and we want you to be prepared. So wear layer clothing, wear the appropriate garments to the game, and make sure you wear your gloves. And our, did you want to touch on Code Blue? So there is a Code Blue in effect in the city. So the Code Blue shelters will be open for individuals that need a place to go to stay out of the cold. So we're actively supporting the city's Code Blue efforts, and we are supplying them with the needed cots and blankets and such for maintaining those facilities. Thanks.
Thank you, Greg. That was our Deputy Commissioner, Greg Butcher of the Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Services. Turn it over to our Commissioner of Public Works, William Geary Jr., who's gone through many a snowstorm through the years for the county. We have some announcements with regards to the Department of Public Works road, and also an important road closure that just came through.
Yeah, thanks, boss. Good afternoon. Obviously, coming into our first snowfall for this season, this is going to be a good test for all our crews, both throughout the state and all the municipalities that we work with in the city. Thruway Authority just put out an alert due to the lake effect snowstorm, closure of the I-90 and PA from New York State line to I-79. All vehicles are banned on the Thruway I-90 westbound from exit 59 to the PA state line until further notice. All westbound traffic must exit at exit 59. So that just came in from the Thruway Authority. Getting back to Erie County Public Works, so as we've been preparing for this actually through the summer with all our partners from City of Buffalo, New York State DOT, New York State Thruway, NITEC, we've been all working and trying to always get better where we can. We have our 5 maintenance districts. We have 40 plows ready. We have over 15 high lifts ready to go, 3 specialized snow blowers on 3 of the high lifts. We have 2 road graders also ready to go out, and if we have to get into any of the hard pack areas. We have equipment, so looking at the map where our districts are located, we have our two northern districts. Not anticipating too much snow, so if need be, we can help pull them down. We're on a 12-hour rhythm right now for our shifts. We're going to be rolling that through till Monday with our crews through the weekend. We have plenty of staff, but if we need, with getting everything open, especially in and around the stadium, that we don't foresee any issues there, working with New York State DOT in the town Orchard Park. For the most part, though, through the event in our maintenance districts, I just want to make sure that everyone knows the first and foremost part of our mission is keep roadways primarily passable, and then we'll get them down the black pavement after the precipitation and everything starts. So I know just trying to manage some expectations there. With that, too, is just don't crowd the plow. Use some safety in and around the plows. Stay back 200 feet. Most all our plows in Erie County are one-person operated. You may see 2 in there. That might be some of our new drivers cycling in. But usually there's a lot of blind spots in the plows. So stay back so they can see you. Obviously have your headlights on. Don't get next to a plow if you can. Try and stay as farthest away from the center line. The plows are wider than the truck themselves. So a lot of times you'll have the plow coming across the center line, so some safety there. Also managing some road kits just to keep in your car, some non-perishable food, blankets, warm weather type clothing, maybe even an extra phone charger if need be, and then making sure your gas tank's full on that. And lastly, the lake's 50 degrees. We're about 6 degrees above where we should be this time of year. That's why we're seeing these heavy lake effect events. The outlook for the next 2 weeks into December, we'll probably see some more. It looks like midweek, but for right now, anticipate conditions changing at a moment's notice, especially the high intense bands where we're getting 3+ inches an hour. But as the county executive said, over 3 days, this is manageable for all the crews. We will be able to keep the roads open and passable, and we don't anticipate having to bring in any additional resources. But if we do, we have already talked with most of our emergency contractors. They're all ready if need be, as well as some of our towing contracts.
Thank you, Commissioner. You see on the screen that we have a travel advisory was pretty much all of southern Erie County. This is not a travel ban, but we are expecting in these areas that you see the yellow that it will be upwards of 2 feet of snow or more. Some areas may get up to 4 feet of snow. So there is travel advisory. The city of Buffalo technically was not included in it. Technically, it isn't, because we're not expecting the city of Buffalo to get anywhere near the amount of snow that the southern part of Erie County will get. As noted, this is something we can handle. If we're getting 3 to 4 inches an hour for 5 or 6 hours in a row, that's a problem. If we get 1 to 2 inches, 2 to 3 inches, we can handle that as long as the roads do not get blocked. If the roads get blocked, then it becomes a problem because it takes on average about a driver 4 hours to complete a plow route. So you think about that. If it takes 4 hours and it's snowing at a rate of 2 inches per hour, then after the plow has hit the ground, by the time it gets back, there'll be 8 inches on the ground. That's passable. That's manageable. If it's snowing at a rate of 3 to 4 inches an hour, then we have a problem. So if we can keep it as is and we don't have excess traffic and people getting stuck on the roads, we should be able to get through this with no problem. And we just want everyone, once again, to utilize caution. If you don't need to be on the roads, don't, because it's not pretty in the areas where it's snowing really hard. And that will be moving into Erie County later tonight throughout the overnight hours and pretty much all of tomorrow. So we're lucky right now. It's still blue sky here in downtown Buffalo, but it's not going to be like that. If you look out the windows towards the south from the Rath Building, you see the massive cloud in front, which is pounding right now the southern part of our region. That'll open up to any questions if there are any. Any questions from members of the media?
So when do you guys plan on plowing the roads for the areas that aren't being most affected right now?
The question is, when do we plan on plowing? Right now, the areas that are affected are outside of Erie County. They're attempting to plow them, I know that. New York State, as well as Chautauqua and Cattaraugus County. We do have plow trucks on the road in southern part of Erie County that is starting to get some snow. We had them pre-treating earlier today, and they are out plowing as is. If we get snow at a rate of 1 to 2 inches an hour, as I said, that's fine. We can handle that. Once it gets to 3 inches or greater, it starts becoming a problem. So right now, it's in an area that we can handle. We want it to snow in southern part of Erie County. We want it to snow in Cattaraugus County because that's called ski country. We got Kissing Bridge in the Buffalo Ski Club in Erie County. You've got Holiday Valley down in Cattaraugus County. That's where we want the snow. If this stays, the predictions stay as they are, this is what we like to see, which is traditional snowstorm that hits ski country, not the Buffalo metro region. That's what the storms used to be like, and if that's what it is, then that's a good thing because that helps the economy down there. They've had a really rough last couple of years with lack of snow, especially in the ski resorts in Erie County. So the more natural snow they get, the better it is for their economy, and we get to enjoy some skiing. Any other questions?
Greg, you're at the point where you might move some resources or certain emergency supplies south, or what are you talking?
Glad you brought that up. Actually, the question was whether we're moving any resources for emergency response. We have our UTVs, ATVs, snowmobiles have all been placed in the southern parts of Erie County at some of our county facilities, some of the DPW barns to help facilitate any needs that some of the local first response agencies may encounter. As you heard the county executive mention, there's a considerable number of vehicles going off the road on the 219 currently as an example of where we're going to start to see an increased effort by the first responders. And the goal, as the county executive has said, the reason behind a travel advisory is to allow the snow and ice removal crews to do their job more effectively and safer, and in the same sense, keep more first responders off the road and not having to respond to some of those incidents.
County Executive, we saw during the Christmas blizzard some issues with communication about like driving bans and things like that, and who puts them out and who, closes those driving bans. Is the communication through the county for these or the local municipality?
Well, any local municipality can do a driving ban. A city can, a town can, a village can. What I've seen in the past is often some of those officials don't want to do it unless the county says, fine, go ahead and do it. And so they rely on us to do it. I will note, in almost every storm, including the Christmas blizzard, I was the first one to issue a driving ban for any of the municipalities in our community. Everyone can do it. Anyone can do it, a mayor or a supervisor. They don't like to do it. They sometimes get pushback from their locals, but the reason you do it is twofold. It's life safety, it's protect lives, and second, which is to ensure that we can get out there and clear the roads. Our biggest problem in some of these storms hasn't been our ability with our equipment to close the roads or clear the roads. It's because the roads have been so jam-packed with vehicles that we can't get our plows down the road. And if you have 2 or 3 tractor trailers, like we saw back in the storm in 2014, that just gets stuck on Route 5 and Route 20, it blocks all of Route 5 and Route 20 for miles and miles and miles, and our plows can't get down there. So when it comes to driving bans, every municipality has the ability to do it. They have to declare a state of emergency beforehand. Right now, we're not in a situation where we believe there's a state of emergency. It is a heavy snow, but something that we believe we can handle, as long as the predictions stay as they said they are. If they change, and now we're getting snow at 4 to 5 inches an hour over a 5 or 6 hour period, that's a problem.
They've closed a section of the thruway. Are you guys worried that that's gonna happen, that trucks are gonna come off and try to?
Well, there's a very good system in place right now. The question was, they've closed a section of thruway. Are you worried about trucks getting off? The Thruway Authority has done a very good job of basically directing trucks, you have to park here. Because if you try to go down these other roads, you're just going to get stuck. So that has changed through the years. It used to be they closed the Thruway and then the trucks would just go on the other routes. That's changed. State's done a very good job. I'm hopeful that that continues. Because if that's the case, then it should work. They make the truckers pull in the lots and park there. And by doing, the truckers aren't happy, but they have no choice. So let's hope that that continues, because if that's the case, then it'll ensure that the roads get cleared a lot quicker.
How close is the county working with the governor's office, and what do those conversations look like?
The question was, how close is the county working with the governor's office? Very close. We have the governor's representative here, and I spoke to the governor. Did I say that earlier? Oh, I didn't. Oh, I'm sorry. I did speak to the governor approximately 2 o'clock, in which she informed me that she was going to announce a state of emergency from the state purposes for the affected counties, which will include Erie County. That allows them to move resources more effectively throughout. But no, we've had great communications. Her team is here. We are constantly communicating with the State Department of Homeland Security Emergency Services, the State DOT, the Thruway Authority. As I said, I spoke to the governor, and I think it's important that people understand that the communication level is quite high. And sorry if I didn't bring it up. I should have. Too often I followed the PowerPoint. Anything else? Okay, everyone, thank you. The Emergency Operations Center in Cheektowaga has not been activated for a full activation. I do need to put that out there. So media, do not go to the Cheektowaga location. If we have additional briefings, they'll either be in this location here, or more than likely, they will just be a WebEx meeting. So that, because we're going to have people kind of moved all across the county in the next couple of days. But we don't anticipate opening up the Emergency Operations Center. We're able to manage it and monitor it from our various locations. So do not go to the Emergency Operations Center. You'll only find a couple individuals there. You will not find our full complement as usual. Thank you.